there. Hey, I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about hearing loss. Did you know that being exposed to loud noise all the time can result in permanent damage to your hearing? That's right. And did you also know that once your hearing has been damaged, there's practically no way that they can restore it completely? Yeah, being in my business, you got to know things like that, you know, working around noisy equipment all the time. You know, if you lost your hearing, you'd be in big trouble, pal. That's right. Like if you were going down a dark alley and some guy was following you, you couldn't hear him. Could be curtains. And that's why I wear these. Yeah, that's right, earplugs. Or, if you like, ear muffs. You got to give your ears protection, if you know what I mean. So, being in the protection business myself, I understand these things. So take it from me, Lefty Magoon. Do what I do and stick it in your ear.
Lefty has a good point there. High-intensity sound can damage your hearing, and the only way to prevent this damage is to place some kind of barrier between the source of the noise and the sensitive elements inside your ear. The two most effective hearing protection devices are earplugs and ear muffs. When do you need hearing protection? Anytime you're around high-intensity sound, like gunfire, noisy engines, loud music, pneumatic equipment, and industrial machinery.
Hey, I want to talk to you about all the noise down in the machine shop. It's positively deafening. All that rattling and clanking and thumping down there is driving me crazy. I can't even hear myself think.
Okay, Charlie. Let's go take a look. Here, Charlie, these should solve the problem. Just stick them in your ears whenever you're in a high noise area, and you'll be protected.
Oh, no, you ain't getting me to use those things. I hate them. Besides, they make me feel funny. Now, fix the machine to run quieter, or figure out some way for me to operate it at a distance.
Well, Charlie, we'll try.
Sure sounds quieter. How'd you do it?
Come take a look, Charlie. Here's how it works, Charlie. You just reach in here and...
Now, wait a minute. I'm not buying that approach. You gotta do something better than that. All right, what's going on? It sounds just as noisy to me as it did before. What have you been up to?
Very simple, Charlie. You wouldn't buy it when we tried to muffle the sound of the source. So now we're going to isolate you from the noise.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, isolate?
We built you an isolation booth. Come on, I'll show you.
You gotta be kidding. You ain't getting me to sit in that thing. Nice try, but no go.
Well, Charlie, I think we've finally solved the problem. We've rigged things up so that everything can be controlled from right here in this room. There's no need for you to go down to the machine shop at all anymore.
Terrific. I knew you guys could do it if you just tried. Now, where do I sit?
Well, Charlie, that brings up a point that I've been meaning to talk to you about. You see, with all this sophisticated and expensive equipment to run things, everything's automated now.
Wait a minute. Can we work something out here? I mean, you know, we can make some sort of a compromise, I'm sure. I mean, hey, where did you put those earplugs anyway?
Doctor says I can't do anything about it. Once you lose your hearing, you can never get it back. Says it happens to a lot of people at my age.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, losing your hearing's no fun.
I can't hear worth a damn myself anymore either.
I can remember when I could hear everything. I could hear the birds singing in the evening. Used to go to the movies. Now it's no fun.
Oh, boy, you're sure right about that. You know, I used to like to listen to music, but, well, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right anymore. It's all flat and thin. I guess I should have listened to them down at the Boiler Works when they told me to wear my earmuffs. You know, I might still be going to concerts if I had.
Well, I guess we all get smarter as we get older. At least that's what I keep telling myself.
Well, maybe you're right, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. The dark-haired man shown in the first photograph is Mitchell Gordon, a syndicate front man who operates a phony brokerage firm on Wall Street. 2 days ago, Gordon disappeared, only hours after he approached us with information about Lucius Lucky LePage, a key figure in the syndicate's securities fraud operation. We have reason to believe that LePage, the heavy-set man shown in the second photograph, has kidnapped Gordon and is holding him prisoner at his country home in the northern part of the state. Judging from past experience, Gordon will not survive more than a few days under LePage's questioning. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to rescue Gordon and discredit LePage. Your support team is shown in the remaining photographs. Between them, they possess all necessary skills to successfully complete the mission. If any of you are caught, however, the Secretary will deny all knowledge of your actions. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Did he say Gordon or Martin? I wish these things wouldn't self-destruct.
Just answer one question. One question. One question. Well, those engines of yours are pretty loud, aren't they? And you're not wearing any hearing protection. Doesn't all that noise bother you?
No, man, no, man. You get used to it.
Why don't people wear hearing protection devices when they're in high-noise areas? One excuse is that earplugs or earmuffs make it impossible to communicate with other people, that they shut out what you're trying to say. However, that's not true. Let's look at what actually happens when you put a protective device between your ear and the outside world. All sounds are not identical. They differ in frequency or pitch, as well as in loudness. But the most damaging noise is high-frequency noise. And this is the kind that hearing protection devices cut out most effectively. Lower and medium frequency sounds, like that of the human voice, come through with less reduction. This means that when you wear a hearing protector, you can actually hear other people talking in a noisy environment more easily than you can without the protective device.
Well, here we are. You have our reservations, I assume. That's Colchester for 8 o'clock.
We made them this afternoon, several hours ago.
Certainly. Right this way.
Thank you. Well, Mabel, what do we have tonight?
Oh, I don't know, Herman. I see they have the frog's legs. I love frog's legs. What are you going to have?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe we ought to have a drink first. Oh, waiter! Could we have a drink, please?
Certainly, sir, but would you please keep it a bit quieter?
What? I can't hear you. Speak up, man. I said I'd be glad to bring you a drink. But would you please keep your voice down a bit? Oh, certainly. Now, I'll have a scotch and soda, and Mabel here will have a... what would you like, dear?
I think I'll have a slow gin fizz. Thank you.
What was that? A slow gin fizz?
Yeah.
She'll have a slow gin fizz. Yes, sir. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, deciding what to order. I think I'll have the prime rib. Yep, that's it. Prime rib.
Well, then I think I will have the frog's legs. If you'll give me a teeny bite of your prime rib. Would you do that?
Do what? What was that again, Mabel?
I said I do think I'll have the frog's legs. If you'll give me a bite of your prime rib.
All right. You don't have to shout. I'm not hard of hearing, you know. Hey! Watch out for the piano!
Ringing in my ears.
Yeah. You want to go get a beer?
No, I can't. Marge has got a roast in the oven. I got to get home.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome. What's for lunch? I'm Skip Alzheimer. I do a thing called AV Geeks where I collect old 16mm educational films and show them to folks like you all over the world. I used to do it live by bringing a projector and bringing the films, but we are tweaking it a little bit for these times and having a lunchtime screening for everybody to give them a distraction from reading the news. And this is a great distraction for me because it allows me to go and find films that I haven't shown online, find films that we've just recently digitized, and share them with you. And so thank you for joining us and commenting. Please tell me what you're having for lunch and where you're watching from. I'd love to get an idea of how far we're reaching and who we're reaching to. And is it lunchtime where you are? Maybe it's midnight snack time or dinner time or breakfast time. I'd love to think that I have that reach, but I don't know. I'm in my basement. So anyways, that last film was Stick It in Your Ear, which looked to be a funny film with a series of skits to try to relay the fact that wearing hearing protection at work was important in industrial settings. I have a couple other films that deal with that, but that one's probably one of the most recent, most contemporary ones that I have. I like the Mission Impossible Takeoff. That was pretty great. Anyway, so I've got a series of films lined up here that we can show. This next film goes out to all the teachers who are stuck at home or trying to figure out how to do what they do online. And so here's teaching.
Your life.
This is an age of miracles, an era of electronic and atomic energy, of symphonies heard simultaneously in 10 million homes, of giant air transports that bring continents closer together, of life itself restored by modern medicine. Behind all achievements stands the work of men and women whose accomplishments seldom make headlines. These are the teachers, whose job it has ever been to aid youth in acquiring knowledge, skills, and understandings so that they may better serve society and live more happily. Teaching is a profession of great trust and responsibility, for education is the lifeblood of our democracy, the very foundation of our way of life. Today, the teaching profession is the largest of all professions. It is a profession of service to all mankind, a calling that offers rewards that can never be calculated except in terms of human progress and personal satisfaction. To each new citizen, the first day of school is the beginning of a new way of life. And to the teacher, it is equally important, for upon the professional educator rests the responsibility of helping each child find his place in the world. To be successful, a teacher must like children and enjoy working with people. She must have a pleasing personality, fairness, tact, and a sense of humor. For those who qualify, teaching presents many attractive features. Continued contact with young people helps maintain a youthfulness of viewpoint, and constant study keeps one mentally alert. An active part in the social life of the community is a pleasant aspect of teaching. Long summer vacations offer splendid opportunities for relaxation, travel, or further study. Some teachers spend their summers in creative work or take positions in another field, thus adding to their earnings. They may work as counselors at summer camps, acquiring further understanding of human nature, invaluable in teaching. It is the unusual amount of economic security offered by this profession that appeals to many. Although salaries are not large, they are relatively certain and regular. Tenure laws protect teachers against unemployment and, in some states, assure a life job unless the teacher is proved unfit. In other states, the teacher is protected by a contract which ensures the job for a specific length of time. Retirement pensions are also provided by many states and cities. Educational requirements for teaching vary from state to state and often in each district. About 2/3 of our cities now require a college degree for their elementary teachers. In other cities, 2 or 3 years of college work is necessary. Most high schools require a bachelor's degree, and some stipulate 5 years of college or a master's degree. But in every case, the teacher must have a certificate, the license to teach. Generally, these are issued for a specified period of time, renewable at expiration, but in some states, permanent certificates may be obtained. In planning for a career in teaching, you must also consider the requirements of the various types of educational positions. The kindergarten teacher must be able to help each child make social adjustments by working and playing with other children. The elementary school teacher establishes work and study habits and introduces new materials. High school teaching represents still another level of instruction. Many students will have no further formal education and must be prepared in high school to take their place as citizens in their community. There is an increasing demand for teachers trained in special fields such as home economics. Specialization of this type makes it possible to utilize natural aptitudes and allows opportunities for self-expression. Physical education is another example of specialization. Opportunities exist for men and women who can coach students in various sports and games. If you are gifted with a natural talent for art, you will find enjoyment in helping other persons develop an appreciation for the cultural side of life. Those who specialize in music may conduct school orchestras or glee clubs in addition to regular class instruction. Journalism, which often includes the publication of the school paper, is still another interesting possibility for prospective teachers. And unusual opportunities exist in counseling and guidance for those who specialize in this field. Each year, almost 2 million young men and women must face the perplexing problem of choosing their life work. Trained counselors can do much to help them in choosing the jobs for which they are best suited, by their interests, aptitudes, and ability. Vocational education offers still other opportunities to teachers with practical work experience in a certain field. Other teachers are needed in schools for handicapped children. The deaf, the blind, and the crippled must have instructors with specialized training. Adult education is another field for the teacher. Many schools offer opportunities for adults to improve their present positions, to prepare for new occupations, and to broaden themselves culturally and socially. In our colleges and universities, instruction in many cases is highly specialized. It is in this field that men, rather than women, predominate. Because they usually make teaching a life career, men also hold most of the administrative offices in public school systems. Consequently, more and more men are deciding that education offers them interesting opportunities for a career of service. If you are thinking of becoming a teacher, you should begin now to investigate every phase of this profession. Take stock of your own qualifications and decide for which field you think you are best suited. Then select the college or university that will give you the best training in your chosen field. Look into the opportunities for scholarships and special loan funds. Such assistance is widespread in the field of education and should not be overlooked. And it is important to take advantage of opportunities to develop special abilities throughout your training years. Those able to handle extracurricular activities often have an advantage in applying for teaching positions later on. In education, perhaps more than in any other field, constant personal improvement is a necessity. You must be prepared to utilize modern teaching aids. Motion pictures and slide films bring a new world of knowledge into the classroom. Special educational radio programs, broadcast coast to coast by networks and local stations, have added new techniques to teaching. But these aids are merely supplements. They can never replace capable teachers. The success of our whole system of education depends upon the capability of the men and women who serve as teachers. For theirs is the responsibility of training and guiding the tens of millions of young people who must take their place as citizens of our country and our world. The little red schoolhouse of yesterday has given way to the modern school of today, but the dream of all real teachers will never change, for theirs is a hope and a will to make this a better world for all people and all nations. They will continue to inspire and teach to help make this shining future a reality. Today, as never before, there is a need for real teachers. Teaching is a profession that offers a challenge to all who would accept the trust and the privilege of being the custodians of the future. If you would accept and fulfill such a trust, teaching offers a real opportunity for your life work.
you. The most important person in the whole wide world is you. Come on, we'll show you. The kind of things you feel, and you're the most important person in the world to you.
Lunchtime! Lunchtime, everyone!
I'm starving. Me too. I really dig food. Eat a fish and wash the dish. What are we having, Mr. Fumble?
We'll taste a lot of different foods. Kind of a tasting party, okay?
I just want a hot dog. Where's the hamburger? Soup and crackers, that's my bag. Is there some bologna? Where's the jam? Where's the ham? Nice.
Cool it, folks. They're all good foods, but today let's try a little change, just for fun.
Yum! Couldn't you just live on food? I'm so hungry I could eat a monkey's tail. Have you any monkey tail sandwiches, Mr. Fumble?
No monkey tail sandwiches. We couldn't get any long curly buns. But let's see what you think of these.
Tasting party. We're gonna have a little tasting party. We've got a lot of food, come on and try it. See something different that you've never had before.
Oh boy, worms! Delicious!
Bird, that's spaghetti.
Spaghetti? Oh well. What's this? It's Neato. That's a blueberry blimp. My mama makes them. Hey, this is far out. That's frijoles, you know, fried beans. We eat frijoles all the time, but I'm flipping over this. That's lob chung. It's a sausage. I think it's pretty neat, too. Hey, this pretty green thing smells good.
That's a stuffed green pepper. It tastes good, too.
Has anybody seen the bologna? It's pink. I'm tasting something yellow. There's a blue thing on my plate. Oh, it's my earring.
Tasting party. See all the colors in the tasting party. We've got a lot of food, come on and try it. It's something different that you've never had before. We got tortillas, tacos, and frijoles.
We've got lasagna, maybe that's a new taste.
We've got cornbread, greens, and macaroni. There's lots of other things besides bologna.
What else is there to taste, Mr. Fumble?
There's plenty of food left. What do you want for lunch? Hot dog or...
Oh, I still like hot dogs. But since I've tasted lob chung, I'll have that, please. Yo quiero canisius, por favor. Frijoles, please. I would like some of those little stuffed pillows, please. He means ravioli.
Bird, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for some upside-down cake. Please?
Isn't it fun trying new foods?
We've got blintzes, we've got fish and rice here. Just look around and you'll see something nice here.
We're gonna have a little tasting party.
Taste something different that you've never had before. Oh, boy! Tasting party. We're gonna have a little tasting party. See all the colors in the tasting party. We're gonna have a little tasting party. See all the colors in the tasting party. The most important person.
All right, so when I transition over, it doesn't automatically make my mic go live, so I apologize for that last introduction and back announce. So teaching, that was made by Burton Holmes. Burton Holmes made a whole series of those occupational films for schools, high schools and junior colleges and trade schools, try to get people interested in whatever career, just trying to find a career for people. Not as good as the 70s is a career in Blah for You, made by Counselor Films, which has a great song. And I said, speaking of great songs, and speaking of food for lunch, here's Tasting Party. And then I played Tasting Party. So there you go. That's what I said. And I apologize. There's little tiny buttons that I click, and sometimes I miss it, and I don't pay attention, and I start talking. So, and unfortunately, I don't see the comments until I start watching the movie. So, because there's 3 or 4 different windows that I'm clicking through at any given time. So I apologize for that. This is a great promotional film about lightning rods. Enjoy.
Deafening and terrifying is the voice of nature roused to violence in a thunderstorm. Devastating the blinding bolts that flash between sky and earth, smashing trees, smashing homes, smashing anything that offers resistance to their unleashed ferocity. Since time's beginning, men have looked at the flaming sky. First in uncomprehending fear of the mighty mystery, later with the courage of curiosity. Benjamin Franklin's crude, dangerous experiments may have proved of little scientific thing, but they did set the pattern for a new and strange profession of today, dedicated to spying on the angry skies and wresting from nature the truth about her thunderbolts. Lightning protection for our power systems gives these studies high significance, for almost every modern activity depends in some way on the steady, uninterrupted flow of electricity. So nowadays, in any one of many selected observations, at the first telltale rumble which heralds an approaching thunderstorm.
Direction north-northeast. Velocity 35. Okay, thanks, W2. Lot of fireworks moving in. Big truck? A doozy heading for New York City. How about calling that guy over there? That guy who's always looking for lightning. Now? Right after midnight. Say, when a rip-snorting storm's coming up, time don't mean a thing to that bird. He's a thunderbolt hunter.
Thus, from some distant airport or power company outpost, comes the warning for which our modern thunderbolt hunter has waited days, weeks, perhaps months. Welcome is the call in the dead of night, for nighttime is best suited to successful operation of the traps by which this scientific huntsman snares his game.
Empire State Building.
Towering darkly above New York's nightlife, the steel-framed spires of Manhattan serve as myriad lightning rods. Tallest of these, and most effective for gathering thunderbolts, is the Empire State Building. Here the hunter goes into ambush. One of his lightning traps is set way up in the very peak of the tower. This trap is really a battery of special machines which measure and record the time duration and varying current of any lightning stroke which may hit the building. Here he is, 104 floors above the street. He threads his way through the maze of steel beams and braces, starts the machines, tends them carefully while they warm up. Now everything is in readiness to take the fingerprints of any visiting lightning. But this is only half the job. He's off to another ambush. Half a mile away at the world's busiest corner, 39 floors up in the air, is a battery of strange high-speed cameras, especially designed to photograph lightning bolts at play. At the throw of a switch, motors begin to whine. Voltage is precisely adjusted, and as the storm sweeps over New York, there's nothing to do but wait, but not for long. And another portrait for the Thunderbolt Hunter's picture gallery. Back in the laboratory, these curious portraits are assembled for study. How'd you like to see the fingerprints of a thunderbolt straight from the Empire State Building? Well, there they are, and beauty. A series of sharp peaks on a chart. And there's a perfect play-by-play photograph of the same lightning stroke. Together, these pictures provide a complete record. And if they don't make sense to you and me, it's only because we're not experienced thunderbolt hunters. Let's go back to the camera room and interpret these pictures in terms everybody can understand. Our eyes saw only this. But here are some surprises revealed by the Thunderbolt Hunter's ultra-high-speed cameras. What appeared as a single flash was in reality a series of strokes, starting with a stepped leader, a sort of lightning scout, moving downward in a series of short rushes changing course with each rush. When this advanced agent of lightning contacts the ground and establishes a conducting path, a vicious high-power return stroke climbs up the leader from the earth. Contrary to what we've always thought, the really destructive discharge goes from earth to cloud, and there may be several of them in the same stroke. Each subsequent return stroke is also preceded by a faint downward leader, but these leaders are continuous, not stepped like the first. Sometimes, in the case of tall, pointed structures, the stepped leader goes up from earth to clouds, but the other leaders always move downward. Thus, scientific research forces us to revise some of our pet notions as to what happens when and how during a lightning storm. In addition to their long-range spying on real wild lightning over New York City, the Thunderbolt hunters have developed facilities at Pittsfield, Massachusetts, for creating lightning in miniature, controllable form for close-up study. The man on the left is Dr. Carl B. McEachran, the chief Thunderbolt hunter. Those tall, black metal-banded cylinders here in the high-voltage lab are the generators which hatch out the artificial thunderbolts. They're the laboratory storm clouds. The hum of the generator signals the approach of the laboratory storm. That's 8 million volts. Just baby lightning, but a tough baby to fool with. In this laboratory may be studied in miniature many of the habits and effects of nature's mightiest thunderbolts. This model, like the Empire State Building itself, is constructed to facilitate rather than resist the electric discharge. So the model survives the strokes of baby lightning, just as its big brother survives the real thing, by conducting the stroke harmlessly to ground. Here are exploded some of the favorite myths, such as the old saw that lightning never strikes twice in the same place. Watch the flash return again and again to the Empire State. Because lightning follows the line of least resistance, it returns again and again. The towering structure acts as lightning rod for the whole neighborhood. Because lightning takes the shortcuts, windmills, tall trees, or other high objects have a tendency to divert its strokes from nearby buildings. When such prominent conductors are lacking, a good lightning rod system will take the discharge harmlessly to ground. But should lightning strike an exposed and unprotected house, the actual probability of which is amazingly low for nature's thunderbolts, a stick of wood simulating a tree, telephone pole, or the timbers of a house is shattered with explosive force by even this laboratory. The stick is blown apart by the gas which is formed instantly as the heavy current vaporizes a pathway through the wood. Surprisingly varied are the devastating pranks played by natural lightning, but always it leaves its evidence, clues which show the way to its habits and behavior. Thus the Thunderbolt hunters, through their unceasing research in field and laboratory, are adding bit by bit to the accumulated knowledge by which they can cheat lightning's attack and check its destruction. And although the grim game is still far from won, progress is increasingly evident. Even when the most violent storms are raging, electric lights gleam steadily from city buildings and suburban homes. Electric service no longer disrupted by the effects of lightning. Electric transportation continues to function without interruption. Giant power stations continue to send out the energy that turns the wheels of industrial America. Wheels that must not stop. Wheels that must keep turning ever faster and faster to make America safe and keep America free.
I have another GE Excursions in Science film, which is about silicones. Maybe I'll try to find that at some point, and we'll watch that. It's pretty great. These are obviously promotional films for General Electric, and they were shown in schools, but also in theaters as a selected short, but also establishing the fact that General Electric knows something about technology and electricity. So when you buy your next appliance, make it a General Electric appliance. Okay, so time for a little, what time is it? 1:36. All right. Got a lot of stuff set up here. This next film is animated, and it is how can I describe this? It's made for men, middle-aged men, who don't want to get a colonoscopy, so or a prostate exam. So here it is. 3 Faces of Stanley.
This is my husband, Stanley. Stan's just a shade past 40. He works hard, takes good care of his family, plays a little golf, enjoys a ball game now and then, worries about his waistline, and has a healthy respect for cancer. He's alert to cancer's 7 warning signals. But Stan and I have found a way not to worry about cancer. We pay an annual visit to our doctor.
Mm-hmm. Heart's okay. No problems here. Your lungs look great. Now step over here, Stan. The digital exam doesn't show anything. But, Stan, I'd like to do a more complete check.
Why? Is anything wrong?
No, but when you leave your 30s, it's a good idea to have a proctosigmoidoscopic examination as part of your yearly physical.
No. Well, I don't...
Cancer of the colon and rectum will strike about 73,000 Americans this year, more than any other type of cancer except skin. And it occurs about equally in men and women. More than 44,000 will die of it annually, though almost 3 out of 4 patients might be saved by early diagnosis and proper treatment.
But didn't you just check that?
Yes, but look. Only a small part of cancers of this tract occur within reach of finger examination. But most can be spotted with the sigmoidoscope, a lighted tube that lets the doctor look directly at the walls of the colon. It's those facts that cause me to brush up on proctoscopy and recommend it as a part of the yearly physical for my patients. Anything less just isn't good enough. As you know, the biggest danger is not just a cancer's growth, since the resulting tumor can be removed.
Yeah?
The real danger occurs when cancer cells start breaking off and traveling to other parts of the body, starting new colonies of the cancer, called metastases, wherever they settle. That's why it's important to find cancers early before this happens. With the proctoscope, beginning cancers can be found when the chances of recovery are best, long before you're aware of any symptoms.
Wait, sure.
How about it, Stan? Shall we have a look?
Gee, Doc, I'm nearly late for a meeting now. I'll have to check my schedule and make a new appointment.
Fine. Call me when you're free. It doesn't take much time. More than 44,000 will die annually.
But the doc said he didn't find anything wrong. I feel fine. So why am I worrying?
almost 3 out of 4 patients might be saved by early diagnosis and proper treatment.
But he said I could have cancer right now and not know it, and still feel fine. And that's when the chance of recovery is best. Oh, terrible. Oof. Get it. No.
Nothing serious, Stan. Just a little cold. By the way, you didn't call back about that Procto.
No, I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yet? It's been 3 months.
I just never think of it at the right time.
I think it's more than that. Let me show you. You see, Stan, all of us are really a combination of personalities, and you're no exception. There's the childish aspect of your personality. Let's call him Stan Jr. He's a little bit irresponsible, and he likes to put things off.
But I'm not a kid anymore.
No, you're not. You're a guy with lots of experience who knows how to evaluate information and take appropriate action. And you're still another guy who respects traditions, knows right from wrong, and is concerned about meeting his responsibilities. But Stan Jr. didn't go away. He's still there. And a good thing it is, too. He's in charge of the fun department. He knows how to have a good time. But he doesn't like to think ahead. Everything is now. And he's scared of pain. And when he's scared, he's remarkably stubborn. Put them all together and we have a pretty good mix. But when they disagree, like now...
40% mortality, colon and rectum cancer, excellent survival probability if diagnosed early. Early diagnosis achieved through exam. Have exam. No, I'm not going. Don't be silly. It's for your own good. It's the practical thing to do. I won't, but you must go. You can't make me.
All right, you guys, knock it off. We're not getting anywhere arguing about it. Why don't you go on home and think about it, Stan? But find out what Stan Jr. is afraid of. Remember how stubborn he is when he's scared.
Find out what Stan Jr.'s afraid of? Well, what is he afraid of?
Doctors poke and hurt, and they say it won't hurt, but it does. And they use big words so you don't understand. And they sneak up behind you.
Rubbish. That's ridiculous. Whoever heard of such a thing? But fear is not always reasonable. What else?
Maybe he'll find something wrong. That'd be real scary.
He can't find something unless it's already there. And if it is, it won't get better by itself.
Yeah.
Hi, Arch.
Hi, Stan. How's it go?
Oh, my doctor is giving me a bad time lately.
Oh, yeah? What's the matter?
Well, have you ever heard of a procto exam?
Is that what's worrying you? Here, grab the putter.
Okay, Arch.
Oh, yeah, I get a procto once a year now, Stan. Whoop, keep your eye on the ball.
But didn't it hurt? Weren't you embarrassed?
Hurt? No, it's just a little bit uncomfortable. And embarrassed? Heck no, the doctor and nurse are pros, just like me. Well, that's her job.
Seems foolish to spend money just to find out you didn't need to.
Yeah? You can't sell me on that. Turns out I had cancer of the colon, but they caught it early because I had the examination.
Is that so? I always heard doctors couldn't do much for cancer of the bowel.
Yeah, I guess that used to be true. After my operation, the doc told me that just a few years ago, he probably couldn't have saved me. Says surgery's come a long way. Believe me, I have that exam regularly. And so does my wife. That exam saved my life. Hey, Stan, where you going?
You know what I always say, Arch. When you want to be sure, go see a pro. See you later.
You know, I've been putting this off, too. I think I'll go with him. Stan, wait a minute. Stan? Stan?
Yeah. Procto. Being in my 50s, I have experienced the modern day version of the Procto. It's not a lot of fun. The prep is actually worse than the actual procedure. But Hal Smith plays the voice of Stanley in his Three Faces. Hal Smith, you guys know who Hal Smith is? He, besides doing lots and lots and lots and lots of cartoon voiceover work, you might know him better from the role that he played on the Andy Griffith Show. He played Otis the Drunk. Hal Smith, man, such a great character actor. And he shows up in some of the educational films that I have as this rhyming fix-it man, which I haven't digitized a lot of those because those films are so annoying. They're like really to the point where I'm like, I can't even watch that. That's so annoying. And that's a pretty high threshold for me because I will watch a lot of annoying stuff and will show you a lot of annoying stuff. I guess that's why you tune in. I don't know. But I just wanted to say real quick, thanks for the Patreon donation. Somebody just donated something, and you can donate right there. Also at avgeeks.com, I've made it to where there's 3,000 or so films online, and you can order those as DVDs directly from my site. And I'm going to add the rest of the DVD compilations that I have coming up soon this week. Another thing, hopefully if this works out, I'll be on Found Footage Festival, which is these two guys who have tens of thousands of videotapes in Brooklyn, New York, and they delight in showing you some of the really horrible ones, great ones. And they do a weekly Tuesday night VCR party, and because of lockdown in Brooklyn, they're also doing these quarantine classics, and they're going to have me on as a guest. They're great friends. I've gone on tour with them. They're ludicrous people. They're very funny. And they have an eye for video, which is great because I don't have time to look at video. I'm concentrating on 16 millimeter. And so, yeah. And they've gone around with some of my films as kind of an intro for what they do. And so I'm excited to be on there. I don't know exactly the details, but we're supposedly going to be filming it later this week. Anywho, I wanted to show, I've been showing a lot of naughty boys and naughty men. I wanted to show some girls being bad. So here is That's Stealing. Enjoy.
This is the story of two friends, Kathy and Heather. This is also a story about stealing. Hello, my name is Adrienne Doyle. I'm a police officer. We all know that stealing, taking something that doesn't belong to you and keeping it, is wrong. And if you wind up getting caught, you'll be in trouble. But there's something else to think about, too, and that's trust. That's what this story is about, trust, and what happens to trust when a person begins stealing.
You know, it was
Heather and Kathy usually walk home together. But today, Kathy is walking home by herself. She's thinking about her friendship with Heather, trust, and a little gold locket.
I told you not to take your locket to school. Think I won't get lost?
I don't think it was lost.
What do you mean?
I thought I might lose it at PE. So I put it in my desk while I went out into the yard with other kids. When we came back from PE, I forgot to put it back on. I remembered it just before the bell rang to go home. But when I looked at my desk, it was gone.
Somebody stole it? Somebody from your class? Did you tell Mrs. Haynes?
The locket wasn't that expensive. It's not that big of a deal.
Kathy, stealing is stealing. It doesn't matter if you take something small or something big. It's important for you to understand that. And it's important for whoever took the locket to understand that as well.
I guess you're right. But can I try and handle this? Please?
Well, okay. But I want you to tell me what you decide.
Dear Heather, I've decided to write this letter to you because it's hard for me to say what I have to say. We've been friends for so long, but I think we won't be friends anymore. At least, I don't think we can be the same kind of friends. Maybe if I'd done something sooner, I wouldn't be writing this letter to you now. Maybe I should have said something way last fall. That's when I first suspected something. But at the time, it didn't seem like a big deal.
Heather, what took you so long? Mrs. Haynes made me stay after and feed the turtles. Billy got sick at lunch and had to go home. Where did you get the marker? I bought it. When? You didn't have it this morning. What really happened is I found it. Where? What difference does it make? It's not yours, is it? No, I just wondered. Come on, my mom's gonna be mad about me being late. Just tell her about the turtles. She wouldn't want the turtles to starve, would she? How come you had to feed the stupid turtles anyway? I told you, Billy got sick. I think you fed the turtles for Billy because you like him. I do not.
It was the first couple of weeks in the new school year. There are boys and turtles and all kinds of things to think about. Too many things to be all that worried about where a felt marker came from. Anyway, like you said, I didn't lose the marker. What difference did it make where it came from? Then, about 2 weeks later, something else happened. You acted like it was nothing important, but we both knew it was.
So my mom goes, you can't have your ears pierced until you're 16. Why don't you just do it until it was an accident? Oh, right. She's really gonna believe that someone poked holes in my ears by mistake. Well, if you have pierced ears, you could wear these. Where did you get those? In the department store. $10? You didn't have enough money for these. I know, I just took them. You swiped them? I didn't steal them or anything. They were on the floor. Somebody had knocked them off the display counter. If I hadn't picked them up, somebody would have stepped on them and they would have been wrecked anyway. Yeah, but you could have just put them back. Geez, Kathy, the store only had about 500 pairs of these on sale. You think they're gonna miss 2 crummy earrings? They don't even know they're gone. Was it stealing? I mean, stealing is a pretty heavy word. It didn't seem like taking the earrings was the same thing exactly. But, like my mom said, taking anything that belongs to someone else is stealing. It's funny. That day at the mall, I thought about you taking the earrings. And what if you had been caught? And what would happen to you? What I didn't think about was what the whole thing was doing to our friendship. I mean, a friend is someone you trust all the time. Always.
Everyone, could you take your seats, please? And give me your attention. Ronald is missing a magnifying glass. It's about this big. It was on his desk just a few minutes ago. Did anyone take it? Perhaps one of you borrowed the magnifying glass. That's understandable. But Ron would like to know who has it. Boys and girls, this is very serious. Because if someone didn't borrow it or take it by mistake, the only thing I can think of is that someone stole it. I would hate to think that anyone in this room would do anything like that. So during recess, please think about this.
What were you looking at me for? I wasn't looking at you. I'm really sure you weren't looking at me, Kathy. You'd think I ripped off Ronnie's stupid magnifying glass. I didn't say that, but you think it right? I don't know. Well, I know who took it, and it wasn't me. Well, who was it then? It wasn't me. Besides, if I told you, you'd tell Mrs. Haynes. It's like I can't trust you anymore. Up until that minute, I had thought that I was the one who couldn't trust you. But then I realized that you couldn't trust me either.
And up, stretch away, over, shoulders down, and up, reach past your foot, heel forward, and up. Stretch away, keep that hip down, reach over.
Are you gonna take the second class? No, I'm too tired. I think I'll just go home. Yeah, me too. Look, what I said yesterday, I didn't mean it. I know you wouldn't do anything like tell Mrs. Haynes. Even if I had swiped the stupid magnifying glass. Yeah, sure. Maybe I will stay for another class.
And up, take your foot, reach past your foot, hurry up now, over.
It's a funny thing. When trust starts to go, I found myself thinking about really silly little things, like that magic marker you had way last fall. Did you really find it? 2 weeks ago, somebody swiped a library book from Julie's locker. Where were you when that happened? These are questions that friends shouldn't have to ask about one another. That is, unless they don't trust each other anymore.
All right, class, let's get ready for PE.
Something happened at school today. It's funny, but last year I never would have thought that you had anything to do with it. Now, I don't know.
later, I found out that someone had taken my locket from my desk. Suddenly, I found myself asking those questions about you. Where were you? Were you really in the restroom? I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't want friends that I have to ask questions like that about. I want friends I can trust.
Well, I can see why you wanted to handle this yourself. So you and Heather won't be friends anymore? Is that it? What about the other kids that have had things taken? What about Heather? What if she keeps on taking things that don't belong to her?
Do you want me to tell on her? I couldn't do that.
Well, I just thought there might be something else besides just washing your hands of the whole thing.
Hey, Kathy, how come you didn't meet me after school? I wrote you a letter. But maybe I should just tell you. What? Somebody swiped my locket while we were at PE. And you think I took it? You ripped off other stuff, not from friends. What do you think I am? I know what you are, Heather. I know it. Maybe other people know it too. Jeez, stealing is stealing, no matter whether it's from friends or people you don't know at all. If you think I took your locket, prove it. I can't prove you took it. The problem is, I can't prove you didn't.
What was stolen in this story? The things that were taken were not all that expensive. A marker, maybe a magnifying glass, maybe a locket. But the important thing that was stolen was the friendship between Kathy and Heather. Kathy's mom had an interesting point. Was it enough for Kathy to say to Heather, I can't be friends with you anymore, and just walk away? I mean, eventually, if Heather keeps taking things, people are going to become suspicious of her. And sooner or later, Heather will be caught. When that happens, her parents will be called in. Certainly she'll have to pay for or return everything that she took. She may even get suspended from school. That could be very embarrassing for Heather, for her parents, and maybe even for Kathy. Why for Kathy? Because Kathy knew first. Perhaps there was something else that could have been done besides just turning around and walking away. If you were Kathy, what would you say to your friend?
Yeah, Officer Adrian was quite the looker, and maybe wearing a little too much makeup for being on duty. I love that film, and it brings up at the end when her mother is asking her, like, well, so you're just gonna give her a letter and just kind of wash your hands of it? And she's like, you want me to tell on her? And it reminds me of that wonderful Over the Edge quote, a kid who tells on another kid is a dead kid. That's what immediately pops in my head as the next line. And if you have not seen Over the Edge, came out in 1980, it is an amazing film of kids who are entirely too bored, who go crazy. It's a wonderful film that I recommend. It was Matt Dillon's first film, and it just basically shows... it's loosely based on a true story, but it just shows kids going nuts in the early 80s, late 70s. Anyhow, thanks for joining me tonight, or today. The sun's still out, so it's today. Please join me tomorrow. I appreciate spending this time with you and showing you these movies. We have lots and lots and lots to go through. So thanks for your tuning in and for you sharing it with friends and family, telling other people about what we do. And hopefully I will see you again tomorrow. It's April Fool's Day, but really, come on. Read the room. Anyhow, we'll see you soon. Take care.